In 1493, the throne of Songhai is up for grabs, and Askia Muhammad, a general with ambition bigger than his turban, decides it's his turn. Now the big move, the road from Marrakesh to Gao. First, let's set the stage. Here's the world our story unfolds in, around 1591, with Gao right at the heart of it. Sonni Baru, the reigning king, hears the news and laughs, until he sees Askia's army marching toward Gao, and suddenly it's not so funny. The Battle of Anfao is chaos, cavalry charges, dust clouds, and Sonni Baru's army realizing they forgot to bring their fighting spirit today. Sonni Baru flees, leaving the throne to Askia, who doesn't just sit on it, he gives it a good polish and a new coat of ambition. Askia Muhammad, now king, decides to go on a little road trip to Mecca, because nothing says, I'm a new boss like a 300,000 gold piece shopping spree. The caravan stretches for miles, a moving city of scholars, soldiers, and camels loaded with bling. Askia is not just going on a pilgrimage, he's going on a diplomatic victory lap. In Mecca, the Sharif is impressed. So impressed, he declares Askia Caliph of the Sudan, a title that's like emperor of everything south of the Sahara. Askia's ego inflates to balloon size. Askia returns home, not just with a fancy title, but with the idea that he's now the religious boss of West Africa. Time to spread the word, and maybe a little reform. Askia Muhammad, fresh from Mecca, sits down with a scholar who's about to become his spiritual life coach. Muhammad al-Maghili, the strictest teacher in North Africa, is ready to grade Songhai's Islam. Al-Maghili drops a truth bomb. Your empire's full of fake Muslims. Time for a spiritual spring cleaning. Askia's jaw drops because he just walked 1,000 miles to hear that. Al-Maghili hands over a holy to-do list. Purify the faith, crush the heretics, and maybe don't mix politics with religion, unless it's his politics. Askia nods like a student taking notes, but his eyes are already scheming. Askia leaves that meeting with a plan. He'll use religion like a hammer, and the nails are anyone who disagrees. Al-Maghili watches him go, wondering if he just created a monster. Spoiler, yes. Askia Muhammad returns from Mecca in 1497, not with a tan, but with a plan. He's about to turn a war machine into a bureaucratic masterpiece. First order of business, divide and conquer. Askia splits the empire into provinces, each with a governor who answers to him, and only him. It's like corporate restructuring, but with more spears. And because he's not just a conqueror, he appoints judges to uphold the law, Islamic law, to be precise. Cue the Law and Order montage, Songhai style. But the real masterstroke? Education. Askia turns Timbuktu into a university town, where scholars from across the Muslim world come to debate, study, and argue about grammar. Askia Muhammad points south with a grin. Mossi Kingdom? More like Mossi opportunity for slaves and glory. The Mossi put up a fight, they always do. But Songhai discipline and Askia's fury send them running. Victory. Askia's men round up captives like excited sheepdogs. That's a lot of new neighbors, he chuckles. And here's Gao up close, where our story really plays out. Askia Muhammad points at Agadez on the horizon. That's not a city, that's a toll booth with walls. His army grins. The Tuareg are about to give surprise. The Songhai army marches through the desert, kicking up sand. Agadez walls loom closer. The Tuareg defenders on top look nervous. They've heard what happens to cities that say no. Scaling ladders slam against the walls. Songhai soldiers swarm up like angry ants at a picnic. The Tuareg defenders throw rocks and pour sand. Wait, sand? That's not going to stop anyone. The gates burst open. Askia Muhammad strides in like he owns the place, because now he does. The Tuareg surrender, and the trans-Saharan trade routes just got a new toll collector. Askia Muhammad points at Katsina on the map, grinning like a kid who just spotted the biggest toy in the store. That's not a city, that's a tribute machine. The Songhai cavalry charges, horses kicking up a dust storm. The Hausa infantry sees them coming and collectively goes, "Oh no, we left the oven on." Clash. Songhai lances meet Hausa shields with a comedic boing. The Hausa general, arms flailing, realizes his shield is now a pincushion. After a short, one-sided scuffle, Kotsena's ruler kneels and offers a chest of gold. Askia pats him on the head like a good dog. Who's a good tributary? Askia Muhammad throws open the gates of Timbuktu, and the city practically glows with opportunity. Scholars, poets, and merchants pour in like it's the hottest new tech hub. Sankore University becomes the Google of its day, minus the free snacks, plus a lot more camel hair. Scholars from Timbuktu, Jin, and beyond flock here to argue about math and theology. Askia funds the library like a patron saint of paper cuts, and soon Timbuktu's books outnumber its goats. That's a lot of books, folks, and a lot of goats. Timbuktu's golden age shines so bright it blinds the competition. Other cities squint with envy, but Askia just smiles. He's got the best library in West Africa, and he knows it. Askia Muhammad decides to build himself a pyramid, not for the afterlife, just to remind everyone who's boss in the most literal way possible. He commissions the best mud brick architects in the empire. They nod, measure, and try not to point out that he's basically reinventing the Egyptian wheel, with less Nile and more sweat. Thousands of workers haul mud and straw, stacking the pyramid brick by brick like a giant, sandy Jenga tower that never falls. When it's done, the pyramid stands tall in Gao, a mud brick monument that will outlast empires and give tourists a very sweaty climb. By 1528, the old lion's eyes are failing, but his sons are sharp as knives. Askia Musa, the eldest, has a plan, and it involves a very uncomfortable throne swap. One night, Musa's men burst in, and the old emperor doesn't even get a chance to say to son before they grab him by the royal robes. They don't just take his crown, they take his sight. A hot needle, a blinding flash, and the great Askia is left in permanent darkness. Led away by the guards, the once mighty emperor shuffles into exile, a blind old man with nothing left but memories of glory. In 1538, Askia Muhammad dies, and his sons circle the throne like vultures at a barbecue. First up, Askia Ishaq, who grabs the crown with both hands and a mind shriek. Ishaq's reign is a short, unimpressive cameo. He dies in 1539, leaving the throne to Dawood, who's been sharpening his elbows in the wings. Dawood tries to steady the ship, but the empire's already listing. His brothers whisper, scheme, and sharpen their knives, metaphorically, mostly. The Songhai Empire, once the pride of West Africa, now wobbles like a jello mold at a family reunion. The Golden Age is officially on life support. In Marrakesh, Sultan Ahmad al-Mansur lounges on his throne, chin in hand, dreaming of gold. His advisors whisper, Songhai's mines could fill our coffers 1,000 times over. But there's a catch. Between Morocco and Songhai lies 1,000 miles of Sahara, a sea of sand that eats armies for breakfast. Ahmed's generals gulp. Undeterred, al-Mansur hires mercenaries and buys the latest guns, spending gold he doesn't have yet. You can't make an omelet without breaking a few eggs, he chuckles, or conquering a few empires. By 1590, he's ready. A force of 4,000 men, many armed with arquebus, prepares to march. The desert awaits, and so does Songhai's gold. In 1590, Sultan Ahmad al-Mansur finally puts his money where his mouth is. For 1,000 men, 2,500 with shiny new arquebus, and 500 cavalry. It's the most expensive road trip in history. Leading this desert-bound doom squad is Juder Pasha, Spanish by birth, eunuch by career choice, and about to become the most famous tourist in West Africa. Juder Pasha, ever the pragmatist, has packed light. Guns, gunpowder, and a whole lot of hope. The Songhai have no idea what's about to hit them. Juder Pasha's desert road trip is going great if by great you mean hot, thirsty, and running low on water. Camels groan, soldiers stagger, and the Sahara laughs. The heat is so brutal that men start drinking camel milk, then the camels start looking nervous. Jitter Pasha, ever the optimist, checks his water skins and does the math. Not enough. Morale hits an all-time low when a sandstorm swallows the column. Men cling to camels. Camels cling to sanity. And Jutter's fancy hat becomes a desert artifact. After weeks of misery, a cry goes up. The Niger. Men sprint, camels sprint, and Jitter Pasha weeps into the river, then remembers he's a general and pretends it's sweat. On March 13th, 1591, Askia Muhammad II lines up his cavalry, ready to charge. They've got numbers, courage, and a whole lot of confidence. What'd go wrong? The Songhai cavalry thunders forward, hooves shaking the earth. Then the Moroccans fire, bang, bang, bang. Horses scream, riders tumble, and the charge turns into a pileup. Askia Muhammad II watches his elite cavalry get shredded. His jaw drops. His confidence? Gone. His battle plan? Now a suggestion. The Songhai army breaks. Men run, weapons dropped, dignity left behind. Jitter Pasha's mercenaries stand victorious, muskets smoking, wondering if that was really it. Jitter Pasha's conquering crew rolls up to Gao, expecting a fight. Instead, they find a ghost town with a welcome mat pulled up and the lights left on. The soldiers poke through empty houses, kick over a stool, and find a pot still warm. The Songhai packed up and left so fast, they forgot to pack their lunch. Jitter Pasha plants his banner in the main square and declares victory. No one cheers, no one throws flowers. The only audience is a confused donkey. And just like that, the Songhai Empire ends, not with a bang, but with a whimper and an empty palace. Askia Muhammad II is already a distant dust cloud. Jitter Pasha rolls into Timbuktu like a tourist with a shopping list, except his souvenir is the entire city's wealth, and he's not paying. The soldiers treat the great mosque like a garage sale, tossing manuscripts into piles while scholars watch in horror, their life's work becoming kindling. Some scholars flee into the desert, clutching their books like life rafts, while others stay and face the unthinkable, a Timbuktu without its brains. Jitter Pasha declares Timbuktu pacified, but the only thing truly pacified is the city's future. Its libraries are ash, its scholars ghosts. Askia rallies his men in the bush, whispering, "We are the thorn in Morocco's side." They nod, gripping spears, ready to sting. But the empire is a shattered mirror, each piece glinting with its own ambition. Askia's resistance is just one shard, and it's getting dull. Guerrilla raids hit the Moroccan supply lines, a camel here, a sack of grain there. It's like swatting flies, but the flies are winning. The Moroccans respond by building a fort right in the heart of the bush. It's like putting a brick in a beehive. It doesn't stop the buzzing, just makes it angrier. Centuries after the empire's fall, the Askia tomb still stands in Gao, a giant mud pyramid that looks like a wedding cake made of earth and ambition. Pilgrims come from across the Sahel, leaving offerings and whispering prayers. The old emperor's spirit must be laughing. He built this tomb while he was still alive, just to be safe. Historians call him a symbol of African Islamic civilization. Tourists call him that guy with a cool hat. Either way, his legacy outlived the empire that built it. And so, dear viewer, remember, empires crumble, cannons roar, but a good mud pyramid? That's forever. Askia the Great, still the landlord of history.